Welcome to NBA Today. We have a developing story today in the basketball world. Bronny James, the eldest son of Lakers star LeBron James, suffered a cardiac arrest Monday and is in stable condition. And the James family spokesperson released the following statement saying, quote, "Yesterday while practicing, Bronny James suffered a cardiac arrest and medical staff was able to treat Bronny and take him to the hospital. He is now in stable condition and no longer in the ICU. We ask for respect and privacy for the James family, and we will update media when there is information available." LeBron and Savannah wish to publicly send their deepest thanks and appreciation to the USC medical staff and athletic staff for their incredible work and dedication to the safety of their athletes. So for more on this story, we are joined now on NBA Today by ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent, Dr. Jennifer Ashton. So Dr. Ashton, I want to start here. Can you just please explain to all of us what exactly happens during a cardiac arrest?
So first, it's really important for people to understand this is a completely different situation than a heart attack, which then leads to someone's heart stopping. Sudden cardiac arrest, particularly in an elite athlete, can occur for a variety of reasons. We have to remember there's electrical parts of the heart and then there's structural mechanical parts. Either can cause the heart to suddenly stop beating. The most common cause is something that's actually structural and congenital, known as HCM, or hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. But we can see it with irregular heartbeats and arrhythmia. Obviously, we saw with Damar Hamlin, commotio cordis, as a result to a blow to the chest. But when the heart stops beating, the clock starts ticking. And that's because every minute that the rest of the body, the brain, the heart, the rest of the vital organs are deprived of oxygenated blood, the chances of survival go down. So again, to echo the James family spokesperson, really the credit is due to the emergency responders and the certified athletic trainers and the coaching staff on scene who was able to apparently perform early bystander CPR, possibly AED use. We know that that is critically important, as it is to activate the 911 system and get someone to a hospital.
Absolutely. Dr. Ashton, I think part of what makes this so jarring, right, is that we're talking about a healthy 18-year-old young man. How often does this happen?
Well, remember, I think part of the reason people are surprised when they hear cardiac arrest is they think heart attack. Remember, when you're talking about this population, competitive elite athletes, it is uncommon. We see about 100 to 150 cases of sudden cardiac arrest in these younger athletes in this country every year. That's obviously uncommon, but if that's your child, all it takes is one. So I think that it's important to distinguish. This is not a heart attack. This is something completely different. And again, it calls to mind just how important it is to learn bystander CPR and the use of one of those AED defibrillators.
I think the most important thing here, Dr. Ashton, is Bronny's health, his return to normalcy. You mentioned Damar Hamlin a little bit earlier. He's one of many athletes who lent his voice in support, tweeting about Bronny James, wishing him a speedy recovery and saying that he's there for you guys as they come through all of this. But can you just explain for an athlete, what does the recovery and ultimately the likelihood to return to sports look like after a patient has suffered from a cardiac arrest?
Well, first, the mental component. And I've spoken to Damar Hamlin. I've gotten the honor and privilege to get to know him a little bit. He's an incredible individual, but the psychological, mental, and emotional recovery after someone goes through this in some ways can be more significant than the physical one. Standard procedure really physically is to monitor and or manage someone in the acute period of time following an out-of-hospital cardiac arrest in an intensive care unit setting. That's to make sure that neurologically, cardiovascularly, their respiratory system, liver function, kidney function, all organ systems are secure and stable. And then, they don't just get sent home from the hospital. They're monitored in an in-hospital setting. And then we have to try to figure out why the cardiac arrest happened. And that will then determine someone's return to play eligibility.
Dr. Ashton, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us here on NBA Today to explain all of those nuances to us and to our audience. So for more, we are joined now by ESPN NBA reporter Dave McMenamin, who covers the Lakers for us. Dave, what is the latest that you are hearing here from LeBron James's camp?
Well, I was in touch with that James family spokesman on Tuesday morning, and he reiterated to me that Indeed, the James family is appreciative of the support and concern for their son, Bronny, and they want everyone to know that he is in stable condition. But they're kind of closing ranks around this moment. Certainly, they want their privacy to be respected. And as this story develops, as news or information or developments become available, they will disseminate that information. But for now, you're talking about LeBron James, someone who has lived his life in the public spotlight for close to 25 years, and recognizing some of the consequences that's had on his family in terms of their privacy being compromised. They're hoping to focus on the family in this moment, and we will learn more. Hopefully the news continues in a positive direction with Bronny's health moving forward.
Dave, thank you so very much. We, of course, will continue to bring you that news as it unfolds and develops and as the James family shares that information with us. In the meantime, reaction, though, it's been coming in from across the NBA world, across the sports world via social media. Prayers from Trae Young, from Donovan Mitchell, you can see here, and Jason Tatum as well. And outreach, it's not just contained, as I mentioned, to the NBA. It includes words from Bills safety Damar Hamlin, who's back playing football after suffering a cardiac arrest months ago during an NFL game, and whose recovery really gripped the nation. He said, prayers to Bronny and the James family as well. Here for you guys, just like you have been for me my entire process. This is so scary. We just heard the numbers from Dr. Ashton, but it only takes one. When it is your brother, when it is your sister, when it is your child, to feel that effect. And first and foremost, thank goodness Bronny is okay, right? That medical personnel were able to get to him as quickly as they were able to. And as a sibling, I mean, I can only imagine, right? As a parent, our thoughts are with Savannah, with LeBron, with the entire James family, and I just hope for Bronny's continued recovery here. I want to bring in Chiney Agumake, Kendrick Perkins into this conversation. And Perk, I mean, you are a parent. What are your thoughts when you heard this news?
You know, Malika, Sinead, they have a saying, right? You don't know how it feels until you actually have a child. I used to hear that all the time growing up. And to be honest with you, it's when it comes down to your children, one, the last thing that you want to see is your child go through any type of pain or suffering. And the fear of losing your child is a parent's worst nightmare. And when I see parents around the world that have lost their child to whatever the case may be, different type of situations, or their child is going through things, I can only imagine. And the one thing that comes to mind for me is that don't ever think it can't happen to you. I reached out to Bron today, and I just sent him a long, heartfelt message, you know, told him I'm here for him, because we all know that one thing about LeBron James, despite his celebrity, despite how great of a basketball player he is, despite how active he is in the community and what he has done for the whole world, for this generation, he is one hell of a father. And we watch him time and time again on how he always is, you know, promoting and telling people how much he loves his family, how much he cherished being Bronny's father. And when you see things like this happen, it just like put everything in perspective again. And, you know, I just wanted to reach out to him and Savannah and just tell them, hey, praying for, first of all, my nephew Bronny, and I'm praying for the family. But when you have kids, it's just a different feeling. I mean, it's a different feeling, and it's a fear that you don't ever want to have to come across.
Yeah, I think there's a big fear, you know, obviously not parents, but when you look at it as a sibling or possibly as a teammate, it's a very scary scenario because, you know, obviously speedy recovery to Bronny and prayers to the family to get through this experience expeditiously, but also his teammates were there. And, you know, shout out to the coaching staff, the emergency personnel, those who came and helped, because those people were ready for that moment to help in that situation. I'm someone who has practiced at USC. USC has been superb, A1, top notch. Whenever you walk into that gym, you know, I was preparing for the WNBA season, and really during the season as well, we go there, you know that you're taken care of. And I think this just highlights those heroes, you know, behind the scenes that are able to react in a good time to be able to resolve these situations. So yeah, thoughts and prayers to everyone, including the teammates that are probably feeling emotions as well.
Absolutely. As Dr. Ashton said, right, the more favorable outcome was able to be reached potentially here because of the quick action of those medical staff that were on site. Again, again, we are reacting to the news that Bronny James suffered a cardiac arrest. He is in stable condition and is out of the ICU. We will keep you updated on this story as it continues to develop. But right now, our thoughts, our prayers are with the James family.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.